Alrighty guys, so some of you may have heard the news. Every role in League of Legends is basically getting Giga buff next season, aside from jungle. With top getting a free TP, an increased level cap, AD carry getting a 6th item slot and a bunch of free gold and XP, mid getting tier 3 boots and perma baron recall. You know, support also didn't get as much love, but still some nice changes and a free pink ward slot. And lastly, we got jungle, which unfortunately received the least amount of love, 0 major changes, and actually a nerfed first clear. So what does this mean? Should we be role swapping? Can you still carry with jungle in 2026? The answer to this is yes, of course you can. For as long as I've been playing jungle, guys, which is for the past 10 years, at a challenger and competitive level without fail, every single year, everyone overreacts jungle changes and the state of jungle in the preseason. Are these changes meaningless? No, I actually don't think they're meaningless. I'm not going to cope and say that this won't affect anything. Like always, we need to adapt to whatever the meta and whatever the strongest way of playing the game is. These changes will definitely mean jungle will be different. I'm going to predict that the role may become support 2.0, where you will play a little bit more for lanes, more for ganks, and kind of less about like the 1v9 farming and hard carrying your way to victory. But of course, this might be a little bit too early to tell. Who knows? Jungle might still be, you know, depending what meta it is and depending what champions get buffed. But it seems like with all these changes, Riot kind of want to go in this particular direction where top and AD carry are like the main carries and jungle, mid, and support facilitate and are kind of like the playmakers and the pieces on the chessboard that kind of like set up the plays. Which comes back to this initial question, will you still be able to carry as jungle? And yes, of course, the reason for this is for as long as you can impact anywhere and everywhere on the map, jungle will be the strongest role for this reason. It may be that we have to adapt season by season depending on the changes Riot makes, but as history will like to tell us, jungle has and probably will always be OP in League of Legends. Now, let's address some specific changes Riot are introducing in Season 16 and how they will affect jungle.
We also have some delightful improvements, so let's get started.
The first thing you'll notice in January is that the game starts faster.
So this first change of the game starting faster, I actually think is really good for jungle. I think it's a really healthy change, and it's going to introduce a lot of new invades, a lot of new strategies, a lot of new macro. That's going to be really interesting to play as jungle, as now, you know, maybe you just run out of the base instantly, run into the enemy jungle, like you drop some wards with your team and you immediately just start, you know, starting the buff. I think this is going to keep the game very refreshing, and it's super good for jungle. So I'm really happy about this first change.
5 seconds earlier than they do today. You'll still be able to pull off early invades, but you'll have to be much more decisive when you load in.
We're also making some changes to vision.
We're adding Phaelites, location.
So the Phaelites is something that I'm a little bit worried about for jungle, I'm not gonna lie. I feel like this change, you know, the enemies might just have map packs. We'll have to wait and see how OP the Phaelites are.
Okay, so on to the objectives. Otacon was one of the biggest additions to the Rift this year, and was a pretty cool, unique...
Yeah, thank goodness Otacon is gone, honestly. I'm an Otacon hater.
Many of you cited as an issue, and we agree. We wanted to alleviate this over time. We had removed the second form of Otacon, we removed the second set of grubs, but it really wasn't enough. So, just like Zehen did, we are cutting Otacon out of the game. That includes Blood Roses and the petals with them.
Thank goodness.
Also means that Baron will go back to his old 20-minute spawn.
So the Baron 20-minute spawn time, I'm a huge fan of again. I like this because anything that's going to make the game faster for us junglers, it's going to be better. Obviously, for as long as jungle has been like existing, most of the junglers, compared with carry roles and solo lanes and that we already kind of lose agency. So the faster we can snowball and the faster that we can win the game, the less chance we have to rely on our AD carry or our top laner hitting level 19 or hitting like 7 items, right?
A new mechanic called Crystalline Overgrowth, which is kind of like a universal demolish.
Again, another change where sieging is going to become faster, which is good. You're going to be able to get those tier 2 towers earlier. You're going to be able to get more gold. You're going to be able to snowball. You're going to be able to get Baron earlier. So anything like this, again, I am very much
Crystals
so
will build up on towers over several minutes.
Anything that speeds up the game, yes, we like that as junglers.
And when hit, they're consumed to deal an extra burst of damage based on how much buildup has accumulated.
Turret plates will now stay on outer turrets permanently and will be added to the inner
Okay, so basically what this means is that the outer tower's plate staying means that laning phase may be extended, which I'm not sure. I mean, this is obviously good for laners because they get to stay in lane longer, they get to farm for longer, the game is less chaotic. So I guess this is like a kind of an L for a jungler, but at the same time, being able to play for technically 3 different tower plates is also kind of like strong for you, I guess. I think this also makes grubs kind of OP, I guess, because if there's plates on outer towers for the entire game and also split pushing is now getting buffed, I think grubs are going to be high priority for a jungler. And again, this is how you can impact the game by being the diff on the grubs and getting them for your team.
Is to buff top and bot carry relative to the other roles.
So again, this is what I mean by I think Riot are trying to take us in a direction of where top and AD carry are kind of like the carry roles and everyone else is just kind of like facilitating them. It's just going to be interesting to see, I guess, the direction that this goes in.
As they're currently the 2 weakest.
If I'm going to be honest with you, the thing that makes top lane not need all this help, in my opinion, is that they have some of the most OP champions in the game. Fiora, Camille, Mundo, like they already have such OP champions and just like in general bruisers. I understand that they feel like they're left on this island. I see no issue. Honestly, I think the game was quite balanced before any of these changes. However, we're just going to have to adapt either way.
Lowering the speed of early game clears to give lane matchups.
The funny thing about this lowering the early game clears is that I think this was literally like the reason why this is happening is because junglers are, you know, they're grinding out and researching like jungle clears because you never used to be able to clear this fast, but people just got so good at min-maxing jungle clears that I feel like, I don't know what they're going to do to nerf this, if it's just going to be a straight damage nerf. But I mean, yeah, I mean, another nerf to jungle. I mean, to be honest, it's just going to mean that laners have more freedom. It's just going to mean that honestly, like level 3 ganking might be the angle to go for. I'm not sure. We're going to have to see. We're going to have to min-max it even more. You know, Riot can't keep us down. And yeah, and then there's just a bunch of new items happening. This is where we can kind of just wrap it up. These are all the changes to jungle. It's going to be an interesting season. As always, I think jungle is still going to be in a really, really good spot. It just depends what kind of playstyle you like. I do think it's, like I said, becoming more of that support 2.0. You're still going to be able to farm. You're still going to be able to, you know, do everything that jungle has always done. It's just, is Ivan going to be broken? Or, you know, is there still going to be Gwen jungle full clear? Who knows? That's something that we're going to have to really wait and see. I'm sure jungle is going to be fine, just like every other season. But yeah, with that all being said, looking forward to the new season. I'll catch you guys all in the next vid. Peace.